And I got to make sure that I have, let me pause for a second. Okie doke. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Art 196, Introduction to Designing Web Graphics for the fall semester 2021. Today, we're going to begin lesson 9. And lesson 9 covers various ways of adding content to the template that we created in lesson 8. This is where we left off with lesson 8. We created a child page from the template that we created, and we inserted text. In the left sidebar, we added our quotes. We added content to the article, main article and text here. And we also added some and styled some images and captions to the right. So that's where we left off, and we're going to continue with that. With some of it will be a little repetitive, some of it will be absolutely new that we haven't covered before. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to Files right here, and I want to show you the news finished. That's will be the first file that we work with. So it's pretty straightforward in the sense that we're creating a child page from the template that we created in lesson 8. We're putting different quotes over in the left-hand column, the left aside. We're putting some new content in our main article in the middle. What makes it the article a little bit different is that you can see in the H2 tag that this is styled a little bit differently than before. We've added a different size. We've added the color green to it. And then over to the right, we've added more content over here. Okay. And hopefully all of this has already been, some of this has been styled over here. If it hasn't, then we'll go ahead and we'll tweak it. Now, in addition to that, probably the only thing that we'll be able to complete today will be, in addition to that, we have something called Green Tips. That will be another new page. What I'm doing is I'm opening up the finished pages that they have created for us, so we have something to compare ours with. The main component to this, in fact, is adding unordered lists for the at home, at work, and so on and so forth to the main article. That will be those two things. Let me go ahead and show you a couple of others, though. I'm going to go ahead and show you Contact Us and Events. Events is probably the most difficult one for us to work on. It involves using tables and styling them. That will be the toughest one. The one that we see here for Contact Us is pretty straightforward. It's similar to what we've done before. The only thing that will be different is that if we look in this particular section, we've added a new class called profile, .profile. And what that enables us to do is to add a styling that we haven't seen before, where we outline just part of the box that defines that section. And we use just a stroke on the left side and the bottom. I think visually and from a design point of view, it's really quite nice. And that's something that I would encourage you to use in some of your own. So that would be another finished one. And the last one I said is Green Events. This is the toughest one to do because it incorporates tables and styling them. This is not the typical look that you see for styling tables here. Usually tables are defined by little boxes that look really kind of, from a visual point of view, really kind of annoying. But the way that they have styled the tables here for the main content, Really looks refreshing and quite nice. So the pages that they've added here, and when you finish the lesson, I encourage you to save them all, because in the future, if you decide to use tables for yourself, meaning, let's say that you're creating a page of upcoming events for a rock group that you either admire or you're in, and you want to display the dates that you will be performing, or that the group will be performing, and the location and the cost and that sort of thing. Well, this would be a great set of styles that are already in place that you can use. Okay, so let me close a couple of these finished ones, because I don't know that we will get to all of these today. I hope that we'll get to green tips, and we shouldn't be a problem. And here's the green news finished. This is what we're going to work with today. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, and I have to look at my book a little bit to make sure that I've got everything in order. And I do. So we're good to go. Okie doke. So this is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. Again, we have some quotes by John Muir, Sidney Sheldon, and Al Gore to the left. And we're styling the main article to the left, to the center. Now they provide all of the content for us, and the same to the sidebar too over here. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started with ours. Now, a reminder to all of you that when you're working in this, and you can see that what I've done here, I'm going to undo a couple of these because I already got started here. Because I want to make sure that what I was doing was, there we go. So this is a page that I created from the template, a child page. But before you do that, remember that you have to go back up to Site, Manage Sites. And while it looks, everything is identical to what we've done up to this point, you have to select the new root folder. So go up to the, in my case, it was a spring 2021. I'm going to open that up, and I've already changed it, but you have to make sure that it goes, the local site folder goes to lesson 9. And you can see that mine is already adjusted to lesson 9. So I'll go ahead and choose that. And then under advanced settings, you have to select the local folder. And again, you select the image folder, but make sure that it is the one that's contained inside lesson 9. Okay. If you accidentally default to the lesson 8, later on when you go to publish or test the website, it may not work. There's a good chance that it won't work. Okay, so once that is established, then we're set to go. So the first thing that they want us to do in here is we're going to change the main article and the headings and that sort of thing, the subheads, and add some content to this. And this is pretty straightforward. This is what we did last Thursday. So instead of add main heading here, because it's so short, we just type it in. We put in green news. And again, you can do that from either live view, or we can go into the code view. So for example, for the subheading, I'm just going to come in here, and the subheading is the H2 tag here. And I'm going to go into the code view, and I'm going to highlight what I want to swap out. And what we're going to do is read the latest news, the latest Echo News, if I'm going to be correct, Echo News and commentary for and about Meridian. Okay, so already styled for us. Now we're ready to add the content that they want down here. Now this is similar to what we did with the about page. I'm going to select the paragraph here, but again, don't make sure that you it's not highlighted in orange. That's where you can actually add content by hand here. What I want to do is I want to click that little blue tab there where the paragraph is. And now what I want to do is I'm going to open up, and this is where it is. It's in resources. And you'll see that we have these RTF files here, rich text file format. So what I wanted to do is for the green news, make sure that that's open. And I already have it open here, trying to be a little bit prepared. And what I want to do to maintain all of the paragraph breaks is to say, select all, copy, and then come back over here. And then what I can do is I can paste. And you'll notice that it put it all in there and it kept the paragraph breaks. Now, there's a couple of things that we need to do here. We need to, let's see, first get rid of this paragraph here. It says add content here. We don't need that. But what I do want to do is I want to highlight where it says green buildings earn more. I'm going to go ahead and click the, again, that paragraph, and this should be an H2 tag. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Command T, and it's the tag editor, and I can put in H2. Okay, hit the return key, and that changes it. Now we're going to change some of the properties over here, but to make it a little bit smaller, we're going to change the color of it. But it doesn't hurt right now to go ahead and already assign each of these the next step that we'll be working with, which is the H2 tag. Because the H2 tag right now is the same as what we have up here. And we want the H2 tag for each of these subgroups to be a little bit smaller, bolder, and green, in fact. So we need to create a style for that. And to do that, though, we're going to take each of these groups and we're going to wrap them in what is called a, I got to think here, a section tag. So section tags, as I mentioned last week, are used extensively for grouping content so that we can style it and make it unique to itself and differentiate it from other parts of our text. It's just a way of adding specificity that we talked about one of the first weeks of class with regard to CSS and how we work with that cascade effect. And the more specific the class, or the more specific the style is, it will allow us to overwrite and to create unique areas for ourselves stylistically. So again, I'm going to go ahead and change the tag here as I talk. Make that an H2. And let's go down. I think I have one more or two more. So that paragraph. Command T. And put in here H2. Hit the return key a couple of times. And fireplace, fun or folly. So I guess we have a couple more. Command T. And I'm going to put in here again H2. And we have any more? No, that's it. Okay. So in order to isolate these into subgroups, what I need to do is I'm going to take from green buildings and highlight all of this. So let me go down here. Actually, you know what? It might be easier for me to switch to, instead of live view, design view. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to highlight all of these paragraphs. And now what I want to do is if I come over here into our DOM with all of these highlighted, I can, I don't want all of that highlighted. Let's see, there we go. What I want to do is I have this H1, H2, H2. I don't want these guys to be, all of them to be highlighted. So I'm going to hold down the Command key and let's go ahead and select all of these from not the H1, H2. I want from this H2 all the way down to here. Let's, there we go. I want all of this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and I want to add a tag, which is the section tag that wraps around all of those paragraphs in the H2 tag. So I don't want simply a div. I want a section. Okay, section tag. And you can see that if I look in the code view, we have now what it's called is adding the proper syntax, a section tag that wraps around H2 in the paragraphs. We need to do that for each one of these. So I'm going to come back over here. And again, it's just easier to select over here. If I want to select it, or what I can do is I can just, if I want to, I can go back from design view over to live view. And I'm going to click from here. And you can see that I have the section here. I'm going to use the H2 tag all the way down to here and hold down the shift key. So all of these are selected. Click the little plus in the DOM. And I want it because I have multiple paragraphs selected, it knows to wrap the tag around that. So I'm going to go ahead and click wrap and again, put in a section. So I need to do that for all of these. Okay, and you can see that a section has been added to that. So let's do the same for the others. Select the H2, hold down the shift key to the next, before the next H2. And again, I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus and wrap tag and put in section. And hit the return key twice. And go to the next one and so forth. So we got this one and hold down the shift key and add, wrap it around and put in a section. There, we've added all of our sections. So now what I want to do is I want to style this so that the text in here makes it is a little unique. I'm going to create our semantic structure here for this. So we've done that. And now I've changed the headings from this paragraph to tag to an H2 tag. So now what I want to do is I want to create something called a section H2 style. So I'm going to go back to CSS styles and I can select any one of these. It really doesn't matter which one because they're all contained individually in sections. But let's start with the top one here. So we've got that one selected. And now what I'm going to do over here under selectors is I'm going to create a brand new one. Make sure that green styles is selected. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, I don't want current. I want all. I don't want to show set just yet. I want to make sure that green styles is selected. So sometimes you have to be careful when it says, you know, you want just the current one selected. You want all selected. You want show set. And it will, sometimes it will limit what you can select up here, whether it be Bootstrap or green styles or all sources. I want to make sure that it's added to the green styles. So it might be easier for me right now just to select all and not specify the set because I haven't created a set for it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and add, and you can see that it's quite lengthy, but the only one that I need to add now is section is that's what I've just created, H2. So anytime we have an H2 tag contained inside a section, this is what the appearance will be unless we create something even more specific. I'm going to hit the return key twice. So here's our section H2. And now what I want to do is we're going to work with the margins here. Margin top is going to be 15 pixels. So let's click here. I'm not going to use shorthand because I'm not changing the side. So I want 15 pixels. Okay. I want the margin on the bottom to be 5 pixels. Okay. And I want the color to be 090. So that's the text T. And I click color. We already have 090, but I can't remember which one of the greens it is. So 090. Okay. Click OK. And then what we want to do is font size. We want it to be 170%. So it's a little bit smaller than what we have right here. So I'm going to switch to percentage. Now, did I want it to be, it's not changing that. So this is a warning to me that what I've done is incorrect. So I want this to be 170%. So notice that these guys aren't changing. So I need to check, did I spell section correct or not? I got to look real close because I can't see. Section H2. So that should, and it's not working. So let's see why. So I'm going to pause real quick. Pause, I'm going to resume recording. Yeah, for whatever reason, my green buildings earn more green. The H2 tag inside the section tag is not working. So I'm going to come back for you on Thursday and have it fixed. It looks like I've done everything according to Hoyle. Everything should be working correctly, but it's not. So I will fix it. But in the meantime, let's work with the asides and get those done today. This whole lesson 9, will take us probably a couple of weeks to do. It covers a lot of different ways of adding content to the child pages that we'll be creating here. So I'm going to do it a little bit differently than the book because I know that this will work. So because we already have our block quote styled, what I like doing is once it's already been completed, we already have the style in place, is to copy paste. And then there's no error. There's less room for error for us. They've already provided the quotes for us. So if I come back up here, I've already opened this in resources. And what I'll do is we'll take it one at a time. I'll go ahead and I'm going to copy the quote by John Muir and just Command C, copy. And then I'm going to come back to my news. And I'm going to do this in it's easier if I just kind of go inside the code view and paste. And you'll notice that it's already correctly formatted. Now, where it says insert author here under the site, in the site tag, I can do that from here. And I can just type it in myself. I know it's John Muir, so let's go ahead and type that in. If I can't remember the person's name, then I'll copy paste just as I did before. But again, notice that it's already formatted. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take the whole block quote and I'm going to copy it and paste since we have a total of 3 of them. And then I'll substitute the other ones contained inside that. So I can do a copy. And then I can go ahead inside the code view and hit return. And then I'm going to paste. So we have a duplicate, and I'm going to do that again. I'm going to hit the return key, and I'm going to go ahead and paste. So here we have, duplicated a couple of times the quote by John Muir, but now I can go back to the quotes, and I can go to the second quote here. And I'm just going to copy and paste. And this one is by Sidney Sheldon. So I'm going to copy his quote. I'm going to go back to the news. And then again, in code view, where we have the second quote here. I got to make sure that I'm selecting the second one and not the first one. Quote. There we go. And I'll paste. There we go. So this one is by Sidney Sheldon, not John Muir. So I'll just go ahead and type it in. Okay, so that second one is done, and we'll do the same with a third. I'm going to go ahead and looks like I have a double quote here, double quote. Get rid of that. Okay, let's go ahead and do the next one. I'll hide, copy, or just highlight all of that. I'm going to go back to my quotes, and let's pick the third one. And this one is by Al Gore. And again, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to news, and I should be able to just paste here. There we go. Click inside there. And again, for the site, instead of John Muir for the third one, it's Al Gore. And we have them done. So, oftentimes, at least I find for myself that, excuse me, when I've already done the heavy lifting, for our template to style the quotes and, block quotes correctly, that it's much easier to go back in when you have something and ready to go and copy paste. It makes it so much easier. So the next thing that we have to do here is we have the right aside over here. And I'm going to do something very similar to what we had done before. What I want to do is I want to select the paragraph here. I want to find the quotes that we have for this. So I'm going to go back up into, I think I already have it open, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to go back to files, and under, it's over here. I already have it open. It's the sidebar 2. There we go. So you can see for news, they have it broken down into news, tips, all the additional pages that we'll be creating here. So I already have it highlighted, but we'll go ahead and do that again. So I've highlighted all of the news for HTML. I'm going to hit Command C for copy. And then I'm going to go back to my news page. And with the paragraph selected, again, make sure that it's in blue, not in orange. I'll go ahead and I'll click in here and I'll show you what happens. If I go ahead here and I just paste, notice that all the paragraph breaks that I had are gone. So that's something that I had difficulty coming to grips with for a while. So make sure that it's in blue, paste, and now you can see that all the paragraph breaks are intact. But what we need to do is we need to take where it says add sidebar content here and delete that. And where it says add a sidebar heading here, that's an H2 tag, we can get rid of that. But now what we need to do is we need to select for each of these paragraphs that are going to become H2 tags. We're going to go ahead and select each one as we did before and hit Command T for the tag editor and put in H2. Okay. And that changes that. Let's go down to the next one. Germany hits. I think this is the next one. So I need a tag editor for that. And I want that to be an H2. And then we have, I believe, one more. No, that might be it. Just those two. I'll check and see. Let's look at the finished. Okay, high-speed rail stalled. Yeah, we just have those two. Notice that they are styled differently. And we want this to be styled differently too, so that we have a little bit bolder, a little bit greener. So I'm going to check here because I don't see it in the textbook, but it should be available to us. I'm going to see what this one looks like here. So this would be sidebar 2. Okay, so we have sidebar 2 H2, and we have sidebar 2 paragraph. Now, if I come back in here and I look and I see under text, let's see if we have font size is 130, line height is 1.4, and we have not overridden the that paragraph. So there's something unique in here. So let's select that and say show set. And why isn't the color changing? That's in here. So again, this would be for a sidebar 2, H2, sidebar 2, sidebar 2, H2. We don't have a different color though, and there is one that overrides it. So let's see what they are doing here. So if I highlight that, and here's another little thing that we can do. I click in here. If you hold down the option in the command key, it brings up all of the styles or the code that is affecting this. And if we scroll down to the bottom here, we can see that this is sidebar 2. These are the main ones in green styles. Here's the body tag, sidebar 2, main row aside, section H2, and sidebar 2, H2. You know what? Did I put? Yeah. So those are the main ones. So why it's green here and not in mine, we haven't done that. So that would be the next one to change. So let me go back and see if we can't fix it. I'm going to make sure that everything is saved. File, save all. And let's come back in here. I mean, we could leave this as is, but it's really kind of annoying me that that I'm not getting this for the green. So what I could do in here is let's go back and let's do a search for this. So this would be sidebar 2. Sidebar 2, H2. And let's just try. I'm going to come in here and I don't want to say show set. I want to make sure that we have green styles global. And let's look for the color here. Let's change it. I'm going to put in 090 and see if it changes it. That's changing that there. Now, why wasn't we have 130, 40, 1.4 M's, so that's all correct. Under font weight, we can make it bold. And that looks right. So I've got the right one fixed. So why am I not getting this one to work? Okay, well, I'm going to have to come back to it. I've got everything working except that. And that sidebar 2. Oh, wait a minute. That should be section. Let me see. Let me come back here. It should be, yeah, with this one, let me turn off. I have all here, global. And I want, how about if I have section? Well, I did that right. That is section. The H2. Let's try, yeah, we got the right color, bold, 170%, and it's not working. I don't know why. Okay, so let's move on to the next one for today. Actually, we don't have time to move on, but what I will do is I'll show you the next one that we're going to work on. I still have a little bit of time, so maybe I should go ahead. We're going to work on tips. So let me go back to the files. And let's look in the finished ones, and we're going to look at tips right now. So here we have tips. You can see that we have, and here, again, we have some quotes to the left, and we have some other elements over here to the right. Okay. So that's H2 tag in there. It's unique. We have some other text that's been applied. Each one of these, I think, is a paragraph tag. Yeah. So those that we can copy paste, not a big deal. The main section in here is to add an unordered list. So let's go ahead and create a new page from our template. So I'm going to go File, New. And I want it to be from the template that we created. And I'm going to name it Green Tips, that page, File, Save As, and name it Green Tips. Okay, save it in our page. There we go. And now what we need to do is similar to what we had done before. We're going to go ahead and create a list. So I'm going to come down here. Okay. And I want to make sure that this paragraph tag, again, is in blue. I'm going to go back to the rich text format that they have provided for us. So if I go into resources and I look at for Green Tips RTF, I'm going to open that up, select it all. I'm going to close the one for Green News. I'm going to select all of these, Command A to select all. I'm going to copy, move it to the side. And now what I'm going to do here, with that selected, now I can paste. Now I can remove where it says, where we have comment, add content here. What I need to do, and again, I'm going to do it from the DOM, is where it has at home. We're going to need to do this in a similar fashion. At home needs to be an H2 tag. So I'm going to hit Command T, make it H2. So we have to do that for each one of these. That's at home. And we come down here to, let's see. At work. So that's going to be changed, Command T, again to an H2 tag. What else do we have here? In the community. So that's Command T, H2. And we have another one. I think that's it. Okay, now each of these, again, like we had done before, needs to be wrapped in a section tag. So I'm going to start up here where it says, at work. And I'm going to scroll up here. And here we have our H1, our H2, and we have another H2. So I'm going to start with the H2 here. And I'm going to hold down the shift key and all the way down to the next H2. Make sure they're all selected. Click plus, wrap the tag, and put in a section tag. Come on. Let me undo that. Let's do that again. So I have, this should be, there we go. So let's come back again. If I can highlight all of it here, that would be ideal. So let me go ahead and highlight it from the code view. Let's try that. So we have at home. I'll just highlight it here. Or, it works for me. I'm trying to do it like the book, and it actually will work better for me if I just hit the return key after the H2 tag where it says add subheading here. And I'm going to put in a section tag. Okay. And when I do that, it should automatically, when I scroll down, I can go ahead and at the end of this, I'm going to go ahead and hit the return key, and I'm going to put in the closing tag for the section tag. Now I hit the return key, and I'm going to need a new section tag here. So I'm just going to do it manually. It's easier sometimes for me just to do it in code view. Go down until I find the next group here. And, finding the specific area where you're supposed to add it isn't always easy. You have to really carefully look at the breaks. And that's why I chose to put the H2 tag in first, because then I knew where to differentiate one from the next. So I'm going to go back again. And we have one more here in the community. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the opening tag there for a section. Go to the very end, but before the end of the article, and put in the closing tag. Okay, so they're all grouped. Now, what we want to do for each of these is I can highlight where we have paragraphs, just highlight them all. And what I'm going to do, there we go, all the way to the closing tag. And then I'm going to switch to design view. And what I want to do is I want to add an unordered list to all of this. So that will be our next step when we work on this on Thursday to finish this up. And I should be able to find it here. Let's see why we don't see. What I want to do, not where it says at home, I want to make sure that I can add my, we have an ordered list. So if I click here, let's try to highlight it from here. It's really hard to highlight it when you have it in live view. So I'm going to try again, go back from live view to, but it enables me. So let me just select all these paragraphs from here and the dome and see if I can do it that way. No, it's just going funky on me now. I don't want that. Let's go ahead and again, I'm going to select from here and go all the way down to the next one, hold down the shift key. And then what I want to do is, let's try this. I'm going to go ahead and with all of it selected, it's not letting me do it. So I'm not having much luck today. I've got it broken down, but I need to be able to add the tags. So let's go back to design view and see if that works. And it's not working for me. There we go. Now if I select them all there, if I do it this way, now I can do it. Boom. And I've added my my unordered lists. So I'll do the same for at work. Click and drag and highlight and design view. And the little button that's right down here in the properties panel allows me to use the unordered list. It's still not still not formatting the H2 tag correctly. So that's something after today I'll go ahead and I'll work on and I'll fix and get it all worked out. But that's another way that we're fundamentally adding content to our website using unordered lists. They're used really frequently in web design. Web design is not intended for 10,000 word essays. More often than not, when you add content to a page, it needs to be really kind of short and to the point, and bullet points and unordered lists really work well for that. So I'm going to call it quits for today, and I'm going to try to get that the news finished so that what I've done over here works. And then I'll come back to you on Thursday and figure out why it isn't working. It requires, as you can tell, tenacity. You really have to be kind of dedicated to this and go back and undo and redo when things are supposed to be working and they're not. Just like the other day, I was asked, why wasn't the page updating when I saved changes in the template, the child page that was created from the template? And I don't have an explanation for it. It was just a glitch in Dreamweaver. And this might be a glitch today. When I go back and I save everything and I close it and I open it back up, it might work fine. But when I'm, talking to all of you and trying to make all of this work, it's difficult sometimes to see the forest for the trees. But I will get it to work and we'll have it working for us on Thursday. And we'll continue with the other pages and finish them up. And I'll probably add some of the asides and stuff since that's a little bit repetitive. It's more the main content that we need to focus on, like I've done for Green News, adding the section tags. We want to differentiate the H2 tag within a section tag, and then adding unordered lists, and we'll be adding tables and styling boxes that surround, the areas around text with additional classes So that's what we'll be doing for the next week or two. Anyway, any questions before we leave today? Yes, no, I apologize for the glitch, but you know, that happens. And we'll figure out why in a little bit. Okay. Okie doke. You guys are free to leave. I'm going to go ahead and pause my recording, and I'll see everybody on Thursday. Okay.